live in the dungeon. This is the Dream Warrior Review. I'm Kurt Thomas.
I'm Mick Strawn.
A Netflix production.
A disbanded group of superheroes reunites after their adaptive father.
Adaptive. Let me try again.
Adaptive.
A disbanded group of superheroes reunites after their adoptive. And I guess somewhat adaptive. Who trained them to save the world. He dies.
Yes.
Yeah. And down he goes. And
this is.
I have to tell you something.
What?
This.
I have a feeling we might.
Was a treat.
Was it really?
You didn't
only watch one episode?
I only watched one episode.
So I liked it so much I ended up watching 4 episodes, and I barely had time for it.
But I'm just telling you, I didn't have time, and I've been working on this other film all day long, and I've been
so
really,
the fact that you watched
busy.
one is actually good.
I watched one, and
but it gets better after one. I can tell you that.
I went to my wife and I said, we need to be watching this.
Yeah.
I said, while I go to the movie tonight, you should watch the first episode of this and see what you think.
Well, it's like most things. It seems like the first episodes was just all set up, and it felt like it was kind of slow. And then the second one, third one, it picks up a little bit.
Yeah, but what a setup. I mean...
It's great, yeah.
The look of it...
I was worried you didn't like this one. I was like, oh, we're going to...
No, the look of it was amazing. The kind of... humor, that
was great.
The chimpanzee butler.
At first, I was a little worried about it, but
no, I mean it was just
the way they used him was perfect.
The way they used him was perfect, and it was so well done.
And there's more coming up with the mother that's really interesting.
That you didn't. I didn't even miss a beat with him walking in. I was like, oh wow, and. I just absolutely, it tickled me in this way. I think that if X-Men had some of this.
You mean the TV or the TV show? Or are you talking about the actual movie?
The actual movie. I'm talking about the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just something about it that was just
so. It would be a lot better.
And likable and
well, this, I was comparing this to like a lot of the stuff that's on the TV series. Like The Flash and all those other shows, but this was special because it's like very odd humor.
It's odd humor. It has a lot
of mystery,
and not only that, the way the camera is operating is so wide. I mean, you just
the scenes where they're all dancing. I don't know if we got to that part yet, but there's a part. Was that in the?
Yeah, that was in the first episode. Oh, God, it was amazing.
Where they were dancing.
The dance was just great, and it was so far. It was like looking like real people in a way that were still extraordinary. There it wasn't like they were just wearing costumes or something like that. It's like, wow, these people were really cool.
Well, what's great is they all have a mystery. Every character has a mystery around them, even the normal one.
Right. See, I noticed that from the first one.
And then I just want to figure out what happens with every character. The only one that's really more mysterious than it probably I don't know, I think they should leave it that way. Keep it mysterious. The dad.
Yeah.
There's a lot of mystery there,
but there was an element to it that had kind of the fun of the very first spin-off from I can't think of the name of it. The Sorcerer's School. Right, Harry Potter, right?
Oh yeah.
But the first takeoff from Harry Potter, right? The one in New York, old time New York, Magic Beasts.
Yeah, How to Train.
How to Train.
I get them all confused. There's two of them. But
that one, but that one had that kind of. It had a feel of that one, and you could so tell that it was not filmed in America.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. It's like we couldn't do locations.
I've always talked about how Netflix kind of the bed when they do a lot of stuff. Oh, and this is really well done.
Yeah, this is really
I didn't have any complaints. The only if I have to nitpick, I would say Ellen Page is. I decided I don't really like her anymore because I liked her in Juno. Yeah, I hated her. I didn't like her in Flatliners. I didn't like her in this one. It's kind of the same performance all the way.
The problem is I think that she's a great actress.
She's a good actress.
She just never plays a likable character.
But she always kind of plays the same character. That's what I'm saying.
Right, but like, not a likable character. Right. It's like
kind of vapid. There's not much.
It is. It's like she wants to be so deep that you just don't care anymore. And
the best scenes are when she's kind of coming out of her shell, I guess.
There's something about her that reminds me of Jodie Foster at her worst.
Yeah. No, I can see that.
And it's funny because even in that film that we were talking about, that actress has a little tinge of that. When she isn't being great. I think of there's something about Jodie Foster.
You're talking about Retta?
Her. Yeah. They're just she could light up a room in a heartbeat, and she very rarely does. And it kind of makes her,
And these other actors,
and I don't want to be a dick about it and say, you should smile more.
I don't
but
think
you know what? You should smile more.
I haven't really seen these other actors, really, so I think that's one thing I like about it.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of these people at all. And the kid was great and very, very convincing.
But how great is this for writers? I mean, it's like, because there's so much you could do with each character.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's like a gold mine, really.
And there's a magical realism thing happening that's kind of with the superhero thing happening.
And the dialogue is great. The action's great. So there's not much I hate about this, actually.
Yeah, like, for instance, the way that the kid transports himself around is, they're using...
The best part is he gets stuck. Like, he can't figure it out.
Right. So, well, I also want to say this, is that there's a thing about... It seems that right now, within the last 3 or 4 years, that they're starting to figure out that they're putting a practical element to the effects back in.
Yeah.
And they are tuning how they use effects. How they use the visual effects.
They're backing it off.
Well, not only are they backing it off, but they're kind of like saying, well, just because we have visual effects doesn't mean that they don't need to be cool. They are really twisting it up. I mean, I go back to like watching the Avengers, all those movies where things just explode and that's it.
It's over the top,
and it's over the top, and it's so far over the top. It's like everything atomizes, and who cares about that, right? You know, and
this is more real. I mean, actually, it feels more real when they do it.
Yeah.
This
well,
way.
I'm gonna say Mortal Engines.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just ones that just got it.
Mortal Engines, yeah.
Alita.
Oh yeah.
This one, that are doing something different and doing like a new look, and it's I'm appreciating sort of a combination of a comic book.
Yeah. Well, I think it was a comic book
meets steampunk, right? There's it's a great look.
I think it was a comic book, but from what I understand, it's loosely based on.
And by the way, this picture right here is the worst part of this film.
Right. You're talking about the masks?
Yeah, I'm talking about them standing there with the masks, and the masks are of when they're kids, and they're terrible, and they are not at all indicative of the whole rest of the film.
I totally forgot about the brother that's dead. That's a really interesting character.
Yeah, it's an interesting character.
It gets even better. I keep forgetting you have only seen the first one, but there's like a lot of scenes with Mary J. Blige and her friend.
Mary J. Blige was great. I mean, I've only seen her in a few scenes.
I was surprised.
But she's a pretty good actress,
But that whole thing is kind of almost like a Men in Black type thing, and it's there's humor there too.
Yeah,
a lot of humor.
Yeah,
but the way they play it is like Men in Black kind of. Like that's the best way I can describe it.
I'm just totally sold on it, and I think it's different. It's way over the standard that Netflix has been doing lately.
I was actually surprised, but I didn't know anything about this going in. So
I knew nothing about this.
This one was all shot in Canada, by the way. Just pointing that out. Canada is coming back into the game.
Really?
Because there were a while in the 90s and the 2000s when everything was shot in Canada, it seemed like.
but I had the sets. I mean, I don't think that they were all sets. That had
like
to be
exterior shots and stuff.
Yeah, some of but the house and some of that stuff had to.
The house is pretty
shot.
interesting.
And it's got stand there and been forever kind of depth.
I love the entryway in the house when they showed a shot of them coming into the door.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean,
there's some hallway shots where they're training and stuff. That's kind of interesting, like where they're running up and down, and they have those things on the wall.
Right, and I don't think that the bulk of the house doesn't seem to be like it's optical. I mean, that's CGI.
Well, doesn't budget come into play there too? I mean, we're talking about a Netflix production. Don't they generally
go for locations?
Spend a whole bunch of money.
Yeah. So, maybe an older part of Canada, maybe Canada, some old, really large, complicated, leftover British buildings.
Oh yeah,
leftover Brit buildings.
Right.
From when the British left, when they took off, whenever that was.
I would live in this house for sure.
So, I bought smoke machines.
Oh, are we gonna talk about smoke machines?
Yeah. We're gonna do some.
I have one important thing to say about this one.
Bug foggers. Go ahead. Umbrella.
Just go watch the Umbrella Academy. Just watch it.
Yeah. No. Absolutely.
That's all I had to say.
Go see it.
Let's rate it real quick. Out of 5, I give it. Actually, I'm at a 4.
I'm at a 4. I was just gonna say.
We'll see how it goes.
Not metaphor.
Now, you've only seen one, so
I've only seen one, and it was a 4.
I wasn't quite at a 4 after one, and I said, "Well, I got to watch another episode."
It gets better.
I think it does.
Wow,
that's just my opinion, but.
So anyway, I have I went to buy foggers.
Story time.
It's story time with Mick. Story time with Mick.
Story time with Mick.
Story time with Mick.
Story time with Mick. Story time with Mick.
The old mosquito foggers that we used to use ages ago, made by this company called Burgess, and they still make exactly the same fogger that I used in the 80s that they stopped selling in California because they were essentially, kind of, they have a tendency to shoot hot scalding oil onto people, which you kind of got to watch, I mean.
Is this what you used in a Three Musketeers movie? Or no, maybe not. That was dry ice.
Yeah, no, I used them for a long time. Well, it's a particular kind of smoke. Use dry ice if you're going to go low. To get that high and low, coverage, and like vampire style coverage. You do a lot of the low line fog separately from the from like a cracked oil hanging in the air kind of fog. There are so many different types of fog.
And then I know you use smoke, which I didn't know until I think we talked about it early on in our podcast.
Right, that smoke is not smoke.
Smoke is used a lot of times for fog, which is amazing to me. But because I never really thought about it.
It used to be. It's not. It's not as much used nowadays. Nowadays, you're burning oil. We're going to be burning oil.
I have a feeling that we're talking about vengeance.
Vengeance.
And fog is going to come into play because Jason
you bet it's gonna
loves
be in
fog.
Play. That's right. That's right. Yeah. We are working on it, and I was going to take off this weekend, but I just decided I've driven to Seattle too many times.
Here's a teaser.
In the last couple of months.
I've been privy to some of the things in this, and I think they're amazing. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. Well, I'm dragging you with me because friends inconvenience friends.
Right, exactly. When there's blood around, friends are invited.
Friends are invited. Yeah. Come on down. Get some blood on your shirt. Yeah. So you're gonna be there. You're gonna be a huge part of second unit.
I just like having the word unit.
Unit?
Yeah.
Just
I don't know why. It just makes me giggle.
Well, you're going to be on the small unit.
It's a little schoolgirl in me. Go giggles when I hear unit.
Did you hear me say small unit?
Yeah.
You're going to be on the hamster hung unit.
It's not about how small it is. It's how great it is. And a lot of important things happen on second unit.
No,
right?
This is true because, Max von Cleven, you remember what he said?
Yeah. I don't remember what he said.
This one's for the trailer, boys.
That's right. Yeah. Well, Jacques,
second
our friend Jacques, or your friend, not my friend, but my mild acquaintance.
Yeah.
I misspelled his name, and I still feel bad about that.
That's right. As well, you should.
Yes, I do. I've lamented that typo there.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's talked about second unit, how much he loves it now.
Yeah, second unit's great. Second unit is, and the thing is there's so many units on modern films.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just putting together little tiny pieces of stuff
what I've learned
that
about,
are recomposited, with CGI.
Yeah. Well, one thing I liked about when I'm watching all these like Black Panther, for example, and like Venom, which by the way, I think he worked on both of those actually.
He did. He did.
That's why I'm bringing him up.
He did. Yeah.
But no, the second unit seems more interesting because that's where they always shoot the action scenes.
It's the action. That's working on Run. When I think I used to work second unit all the time. And I spent a lot of time just doing second unit on films in the mid '80s.
Was like The Hidden? Was that? There's a lot of good second unit on that probably.
Yeah, but
you were working on.
Yeah, that was main. I was main unit there.
Yeah, main unit.
But I mean, on Runaway Train, for instance, I did the Alaska unit where we literally built the train and. I was just talking about driving in Alaska after a snap freeze, which I found absolutely amazing. I literally drove a truck that once I got up to speed, leaving the hotel, and a snap freeze is when it gets really kind of warm, and by warm I mean 33
enough to melt the snow.
Yeah, 33 to 34 degrees, and the sun comes out, and then it freezes quickly overnight.
Oh yeah,
and
I grew up in Wyoming. I know all about this.
So in the morning, all you have is essentially a skating rink.
Yeah, and people trying to drive on it.
And boy, trying to drive on it. I mean, I went down the street, in a van, and
this is when you go through a stop sign and you just kind of
pick up
your teeth.
Yeah, you
close your eyes,
and basically, I picked a couple of people up as I went through the intersection on my front bumper, and we all went another block and picked somebody else up, and that was my thing of I got the van. I mean, everything and sliding and stuff. And I go, well, yeah, we're going to get this up to 35 miles an hour. And I did. And that was way stupid of me, boy. Because I'm telling you, it took me two and a half blocks to get it slowed down. Yeah. But it was so cold.
How cold was it?
That people had it's really cold, and I'm not getting out of my car to take anybody's name.
Right.
And I'm driving my beater anyway, and so they do a wave. And it's
okay.
It's kind of like almost like a royal wave. Yeah. Only you do it with a nod of the head, and so everybody waves and then starts to slide off into new and completely different adventures.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a very funny thing that happened. Well, funny, probably not that funny if you're the moose that was involved in it, but they kept talking about how the moose would get killed on the railroad tracks, right? And so they would clear the railroad tracks. The moose would walk on the railroad tracks, and guess what else is on the railroad tracks? It's a train, and it would kill the moose, right? So, then they would collect the moose. They would literally go around up there with a big flatbed, right? And, if they hit a moose, So one day I woke up in the morning, and the newspaper, the Fairbanks newspaper, had a picture, which is an overhead shot of a dead moose laying in the middle of the tracks, and 5 cars of a freight train just falling on, and that fell on their side. And it literally had moose. It had trains 26, which was the record up to that time of the year, right? Wow. That was how many they had taken out. Yeah. Moose 1. And I think there should have been a caveat that the moose won, but the moose was still dead.
Right.
But it was a great photograph. It was just overhead and looking down, and there. I'd really like to look that photograph up. I'm pretty sure that I could find it.
You have to kind of see a moose. I've seen a moose in real life, and it's amazing how big they are. You don't really know how big they are until you see them.
I was working. I pulled one of the classics. We were working up in Eagle Canyon, and we were like just hanging on the edge of this cliff. And the thing is that it was a tunnel, the front of a tunnel, and we had to put up this fake avalanche gate to run the runaway train through, right? And so we're putting it up, and I kind of walk around the corner in the snow. It's just incredibly heavy. I walk around the corner to go, relieve myself. And I kind of like step back behind a tree, and there's a moose standing right there. And here's the thing that you don't think about with a moose, right? Is that they can't see straight ahead. Mm-hmm. They see side to side, right?
Yeah,
and so I was standing directly in front of him, right? And he swings that big head around. They're huge. They smell horrible. I mean, really bad. But so he swings his head around, and I really quickly duck back behind the tree that I was peeing on. And I kind of like peeking around the corner, and we just kind of did this little dance where he's kind of swinging one eye over and the other eye over and working, and we're both working.
It's like a Laurel and Hardy.
It was. We were both working our way around the tree. And finally he goes off.
I'd like to see that on stage.
I swear, when I was standing on the side of that hill, later on, I'm standing in front of the hill, and it's the tunnel. At the end of the tunnel is a bridge, right? That goes, probably a good down. It was 1,000 feet down to the bottom of it, and so we're all on this platform where the tracks are. That's been cut out. That kind of like goes into a trail that goes off. That's where we piss and stuff. But the thing is we're standing there, and I'm standing with a guy that was from San Diego originally, that had been living. His name was Michael Carr, and he was an amazingly nice guy. And he was standing there, and he was helping us. He was the construction coordinator. And I'm an art director, and we're looking up, and an eagle is up you're looking over this huge valley, and we're looking at a point to where there's an eagle coming down the valley, and there's one coming up the valley, and they come up and they go past each other, and you go down, and Mike's going, God, I don't believe this. He says, just watch, right? And so the next time they do the same thing, they turn around and come back, then they go up, they come back in together, and then go up, and then grapple.
Oh, wow.
And fall right in front of us, fall down until they're literally about halfway between the top of where we are and the bottom of the ravine. And then they split and then go back and then do this about 4 times. And they were mating. And Mike's, he goes, I just don't believe it. I mean, everybody's getting into this Hollywood thing, You guys come from Hollywood. Oh, I've lived up here for 20 years now, and I've never seen that before. But you guys come up from Hollywood, and even the freaking Eagles are out trying to get a job, right? Yeah, Mike, that's right. We put out a casting call for Eagles.
I thought you were going to say one of the Eagles was played by Tom Cruise or something.
Well, aren't they all? Tom Cruise wannabe. That's why he was, auditioning right there. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow, that was stupid.
I have to go to Alaska.
How far did I get away from the actual what we were talking about?
Well, somehow we were talking about fog, and we ended up on
that's
eagles
right.
having sex in midair.
Well, anyway,
I guess they're all kind of connected.
We'll be playing with fog this weekend. Yeah, I think that y'all.
There's a wacky show I discovered about a couple years ago. And I like. They actually tried to redo it. I don't know if it still exists, but they tried to redo it in the mid 2000s, I think. But it's from the 70s, I think, or maybe 60s. But it's called Connections, and they'll start the show with something about let's talk about railroads. I
love Connections,
and then they'll kind of go somehow connected to something else. So we'll start with railroads in with baking, making pudding or something.
Connections was an amazing show. I remember the one with railroads ended with beer.
Okay.
Remember that? Yeah, exactly. That's right.
That's what I just thought of.
I love historical connections.
Our podcasts are like those kind of sometimes.
Yeah, they are. Really, really loosely. Really loosely based. Really loosely
Well, we aren't editing heavily like they do in that show, obviously.
Well, obviously.
But anyway, so there's a little plug for a show that does.
I can't believe that you brought that show up. I love that show.
And I tried to watch the newer version of it.
No, the newer version just kind of sucks.
Didn't do much for me.
Yeah. Well,
anyway, boy, go see this one.
Didn't we just
whatever we were talking about?
Yeah, what were we talking? Whatever we were talking about, it was really good, and go do it.
The Umbrella
Academy.
Yeah.
Right, the Umbrella Academy.
Yep.
Go do it now.
Thanks for joining us on the Dream Warrior Review podcast. Don't forget to tell your friends about us, follow us, and, of course, like us. We can be found on Podbean, which is an amazing app, YouTube, Stitcher, Alexa on any pod, iTunes, Google Play. We're on Twitter as well, at DW Review, and, of course, Facebook. You can find us there. You can also email us at dreamwarriorreview@gmail.com.